This is what is happening. Now, other things. For people who know, who remember, who have memory, it's not so long ago. Around 1998. Do you remember somebody called Seth Sendashonga? Muramuzi. Do you also know an author or some academic or something called Prunier? Gerard Prunier, you remember him? Has anyone seen his book called From Genocide to Continental War or something? Does anybody know about the book? You are really something. There is a book he wrote. I think it is From Genocide to Continental War. In that book, you should look for it. He gives a story of before Seth Sendashonga died, 98, how he met him in Nairobi with generals from Uganda. And he even mentioned the name. He mentions the names. And he says, he was actually, he says personally, he was in the meeting. In fact, he's the one who introduced, before that meeting, he's the one who introduced Seth Sendashonga to Uganda, authorities in Uganda. And from that, he says, then subsequent to that meeting, they had a meeting in Nairobi with the generals from Uganda. And the meeting was about putting together all means to support Seth Sendashonga, even militarily, as long as he can also mobilize Rwandese, which he said he was doing and already had a few hundreds, according to him. So they put up a plan, and he says, so he was saying, I'm saying it with authority, because I was in the meeting. And Prunier hasn't been very friendly with us, as you also know in other cases. And in fact, even in that, he's trying to say, in fact, this is why Seth Sendashonga died. Because when we had been planning this and had put him in contact with, and everything was coming together, that the government of Rwanda thought that Seth Sendashonga had crossed the line. And that's how he came to die. Well, so my reason for pointing out this is to show the cycle of things that have been happening for the last now 20 years, where while we are meeting here trying to see how we should develop and move, there is somebody somewhere saying, we will not allow you. It is a repetition of that. It's the same thing coming back. So this was, you read carefully, and it has elements of truth in what Premier was saying, because we actually had that intelligence that indeed those things were happening. The things he wrote in his book. As to whether actually Seth Sendashonga died because he had crossed the line, I have very little to say about that, but I am also not apologetic about it. So, in our discussions with the leaders of Uganda, many of those meetings, there would be foreign ministers. Louise Mushikiwabo, before she left to become Secretary General, would be there. The frank exchanges that, in fact, one time I also sent her, several times,